Hey everyone, it's Peek. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Pokemon Unite video. Today, you guys, the update has finally hit. I've been spamming login for like the past 13 minutes. They finally opened the servers. A little bit late, but that's okay. And here we are, right as you're greeted. Make sure you guys do log into the game because as a commemoration for this update that happened, it's a huge update, by the way. Check out my previous video if you want a small preview of it, but we're going to have quite a few videos coming out covering everything in here because we just can't squeeze it all into one video. But you do get Tsareena for free. So log in, claim this for free anytime after December 9th. You're going to want to do that. I don't know if there's a time limit for that, but I just recommend hopping back in the game, trying out a few things and trying out the character. So we don't have to purchase this character. Just get it for free. Love to see it. So this is a expert difficulty all-rounder. So our first new all-rounder we've had in the game since launch. It is a melee character as well, so keep that in mind. All right, so first things first, I want to go over the moveset, all the details of this, and we are going to hop into the training lobby to showcase a very important part of Tsareena's passive, which I won't be able to explain just by talking about it here, but I'm going to briefly go over each ability and the boosted auto attack and just talk about it. Talk through what it does, etc, etc. I'm gonna make this part really quick though. So basically starting with the boosted attack, it happens every third attack, so very similar to other Pokemon. You actually do a mini dash towards Pokemon, so it's not quite as long of a melee auto attack dash as Greninja's, but it basically serves as a gap closer. Think the Gengar boosted auto attack, where it gets you closer to that like camp. So if you're like just barely out of range, a boosted auto attack will actually bring you basically right in melee range to whatever you're attacking. So very helpful. And of course, this is actually going to lower the defense of the Pokemon you're attacking for a short time. So obviously, you're definitely going to want to proc a boosted auto whenever you can before using your abilities to lower your target's defense. Of course, I believe this applies to every target that is hit by your boosted auto attack. So, you know, you can hit a group of enemies, be that the Vespiquen and Combees, or I guess now they're Beartrix and the little snotty snow bear, or just, you know, actual opponents. That will allow you to lower their defense, and your moves will, of course, have more impact because this is a physical attack character. Moving on, your first ability that you start out with is just Oblivious. So basically, think Tenacity from League of Legends. This just shortens any sort of hindrance effects on you. So if you're slowed down, you won't be slowed as long as other Pokemon. Pretty good ability. You keep that ability when you evolve into Tsareena at level 6. However, you get a new ability that's called Queenly Majesty. And, you know, I'm just going to cut to the footage of me talking all about Queenly Majesty for you. There is a very interesting passive that you get when you evolve into Tsareena at level 6. And it's called Queenly Majesty. And what that does is basically this blue bar appears above your health bar. And it has 3 different ticks in it. And when it's full, you can actually reset the cooldown of your abilities. Now, you fill up that blue bar by either using a boosted auto attack, like I'll showcase here. You see we got another fill on the blue bar. And you see how my abilities are glowing green now. My abilities are glowing green. And now they're not glowing green. So let's show it one more time just so you guys are totally clear of what the thing here is. Watch, they're normal color now, and now they're glowing green. You see Stomp is green, Grassy Glide is just more green. Oh my gosh, sorry. And so yeah, now those are reset. So it's you have a small window basically when you fill up this blue bar to use an ability, either Grassy Glide or Stomp again. Now, the internal cooldown of the ability, this is something that I saw a lot of people saying like, oh, it resets all your cooldowns. It doesn't reset all your cooldowns. Your cooldowns for the actual ability itself are still running in the background, if that makes sense. But what the reset is really, is it is a reset of your Queenly Majesty boosted ability. So I'm going to use this, I'm going to activate this, and then I'm going to use Stomp one more time. That's my boosted Stomp with Queenly Majesty. You saw both my Stomp and Grassy Glide were still on cooldown. So if you don't learn anything else from this video, you will need to know how this passive works because it is not just a true cooldown reset. Your cooldowns are still taking in the background as you know, you're using your different moves, you're auto attacking, but you do have a small window to either use boosted Grassy Glide or boosted Stomp with this Queenly Majesty passive activated. And of course, like I said, that activates when you fill up that blue bar with 3 ticks. And the nice thing is, and what makes this character, in my opinion, so insane, is that when you use your boosted attack that you get from Queenly Majesty, that also counts as another tick of the next blue bar. So like, you pretty much just have to use another ability and then make like a boosted auto attack again, and then you get another Queenly Majesty proc, and you're just like chaining these ability resets over and over again. It's actually crazy how much you can do with this character. Just the ability to use your moves so frequently. I mean, no other character has this, right? So basically that's how the passive works. If it didn't make sense to you, I'm pretty sure my explanation was thorough enough. So I definitely recommend you go back a couple minutes in the video, listen to my explanation again. But the TLDR of it all is you have to fill the blue bar 3 times. You do that with either using your abilities or a boosted auto attack like you'll see here. My abilities now go on a Queenly Majesty reset. It's not a true cooldown reset, but it is a Queenly Majesty reset. I'll be able to use them again. But you see, now that I've used my Queenly Majesty reset, both abilities are still on the cooldown that they were on before I got into the Queenly Majesty state with this character. That's the passive. That's how the character works. That's what this entire build works around. So hopefully that part helps. Okay, so back from the future. That was me explaining Queenly Majesty, you guys. Moving on to the next moves here, your actual moves. That's just the ability pretty much. So you start with, you know, either Razor Leaf or Rapid Spin here. Depends on obviously what you want to do. If you're jungling, probably go ahead and start Rapid Spin so you can dash over the wall at the start so you don't have to use your flash, right? This is just going to spin you in the direction. You're going to deal damage to basically any opposing Pokemon that are in your way. And when you do hit this move, it has to hit. You can't just use it to increase your movement speed, so keep in mind that that's a fact. So if you're trying to run from someone, maybe use this ability through a Corphish or an Audino, right? And that will allow you to get that actual movement speed, or just use it through an enemy to run past them faster. So definitely utilize it in that way. I think it'll just mostly be being used in lane, right? Because this is one of the early moves. At level 6, you'll select a different move, but you are going to start with this. So, and then going back to Razor Leaf as your second starting move, this has like a pretty high critical hit rate from what I could see. I don't recommend building crit on Tsareena. I think there are so many better items that she kind of needs to be able to utilize, you know, just the bulkiness, the healing, everything we'll talk about once I get to the other moves. I think crit just doesn't synergize as much as it would with a different type of attacker. And of course, this is meant to be like a sort of bruiser, all-rounder, tanky character. So any sort of bulkiness you can build into Tsareena. I've noticed she's pretty squishy for a bruiser, so any sort of additional HP via Buddy Barrier, Score Shield, stuff like that, I think Focus Band would be really good as well. But we'll talk about item builds later in the video. But that's Razor Leaf. Basically just does damage right in front of you. Pretty simple, straightforward. Good for lane clear as well, I noticed. Easy to kill the A-bombs with, so yeah. Moving on, your first move that you can select from at level 5, of course, is going to be Triple Axel. Triple Axel is pretty insane. It basically just does damage in an area 3 times. Every time you hit one of those kicks that you do in the area, your attack speed is going to increase for a short time after. So if you hit all 3 kicks, you're actually going to have crazy attack speed. So this is definitely going to be very good for just team fights, jungle clear. I mean, in my opinion, this move is better than the other option, but we'll talk about that later. So when you use a boosted Triple Axel using Queen Majesty, now, of course, think back to the footage I just showed of me explaining the Queenly Majesty ability, right? When you have that boosted ability with Queenly Majesty, you are going to reset, or sorry, you're going to restore HP every single time you hit with a kick. It's a huge deal. It heals a lot from what I've told, from what I can tell so far. That's why, in my opinion, this move is just better because it allows you to sustain in a way that pretty much no other character besides like Snorlax can, using its Unite move. So it's pretty wild. And of course, the upgraded version for pretty much all of Tsarena's moves is just going to be increased damage. So the nice thing about this character is there's no sort of like upgraded version locked behind a higher level. For example, Gardevoir with Future Sight, like you have to wait until a certain level until you get the reset, right, with Future Sight. But with Tsareena, you pretty much have your abilities working 100% of their intended purpose from the start, and any upgrade that you get as you level up is just going to be increased damage with the move. So really, really good, honestly. That's a maybe it's a little lazy from the devs, but honestly, it's really good for the character. So Anyway, moving on to the next ability, it's Stomp. A bit lower cooldown, which you'll notice here. I don't think that is something that you should consider when you're considering the moves here, because of the fact that you're able to reset your moves so easily. I think cooldown for Tsareena is pretty... I'm not going to say negligible, but it's a lot less important when considering moves than, for example, a character like Greninja. When looking at the very long cooldown of Smokescreen versus Double Team, you know, it makes a big difference on a character like that. Whereas with Tsareena, you're getting move resets left and right, so it really doesn't matter, honestly. But what Stomp does is it's a similar thing. You just kind of stomp up in the air. You can move. You jump up in the air, you stomp on the ground, but you can move while you're using it, so it allows for mobility, and you stun when you hit the ground. Simple as that. Moving on to the other two abilities. We already talked about Rapid Spin, of course. We got Trop Kick and Grassy Glide. I'm going to talk about Trop Kick first because, again, I think this is probably the worst move of the two. Still a great move. But what this does is you kick forward. You'll do some damage to opponents you hit, and you will lower their attack. But you will also leave basically like what looks like a leaf tornado wave from Eldegoss, but it's a lot smaller and a lot narrower and a lot shorter. And whoever walks through that, it remains on the ground for a little bit of time. Whoever walks on that, on the enemy team, they're going to get decreased movement speed, and they're going to take some damage when they walk through that. So with all of these dash moves, you're going to see the same Queenly Majesty effect. You're going to grant a shield whenever you use this move when you have the Queenly Majesty boost using it. Same thing applies to Grassy Glide. You'll see grants the user a shield when the move is used. And the upgrade is, like I said, increased damage with the upgrade version, increased damage for both moves. It's pretty straightforward. So last but certainly not least, in my opinion, the way better move, just because of the way it interacts and the way you're able to pull enemies back into the fight. Grassy Glide is a dash where you dash forward and then you dash a little bit back. You push Pokemon back into you. And I'll showcase all these abilities in a row for you guys so you can see exactly how they work, and I'll explain what I mean by this. But it's a short cooldown, and as I mentioned, as I was explaining the ability, your cooldowns are still going in the background. So a 6.5 second cooldown versus a 10 second cooldown is going to make a big difference. And for an ability that really just allows you to displace enemies and, in my opinion, outplay more than just a dash and leaving a damaging field on the ground, it kind of depends on your playstyle, but in my opinion, Grassy Glide is going to be the better move. So in terms of my recommendations, triple Axel, Grassy Glide, probably going to be your best bet. I highly recommend trying it out, and of course try out all the moves. Yeah, but I think you'll like that. So as you can see here, sorry, I'm trying to keep up my voice. You can see that the Unite move doesn't actually have any explanation in it, but don't worry, I got you covered. All right, so just wanted to basically hop in here and show you the Unite move. It's a lot easier to explain, I think. The range is basically this. You cannot use it on wild Pokemon, so you're going to see here I'm not able to actually no target over here, right? You can only use it on opposing Pokemon on the enemy team. So essentially what you do is you pop an enemy up into the air. Obviously very good for locking down a high value target like a Cinderace, a carry Pokemon like that in the back line. And you're going to take them up in the air, do a lot of damage to them. It's a decent amount, you know, it's going to be about 3k. And you will crash down with a kick, and that will heal you a lot. Essentially, you know, I'm about half health right now, a little bit less than half health. So when I use this, I'm actually going to heal a decent amount. And now my health bar is, you know, it's gone up a decent amount. You're going to see by how much once my shields expire. Obviously, shields expand your health pool. And it healed about, I don't know, I'd say roughly like 10% of my health, 15% maybe. So it's a pretty decent heal. Obviously not a game-changing or a situation-changing heal. Last but certainly not least, quick showcase of all the moves. Of course, I already talked about them and explained what they do, but now you're going to see them in person, right? These are your triple Axel little hits. You got 1, 2, 3 kicks. If each of them hits, you're going to have a lot of attack speed. You see, like, crazy attack speed, right? And now, my normal attack speed is like this. It makes a big difference, right? Again, it's my normal attack speed, like this. And then, if all these hit, I mean, look how fast I'm attacking. It's pretty crazy. And it's a decent time buff, you know, maybe like, I'd say 4 to 5 seconds, if I'd estimate it. So, keep that in mind. Moving on, you got Grassy Glide right here. Like I said, it is a dash and then a 2-part dash. You can see here in the reticle, it pretty much explains the ability. You dash forward and then you dash just a little bit back. So boom, boom. Very good for bringing targets into your team. For example, if you are, you know, maybe trying to zone out a Pokemon that is specifically coming into the Zapdos pit, you know, want to bring them closer to your team, boom, you kick them closer to your team, you can get another reset of Grassy Glide with your passive. And you can use this to just bully people around and basically keep them locked down. And you'll notice here that due to the knockback, you actually get a little bit of a stun on an enemy. So a very high chance for you to interrupt a Unite move, an important cast of a move for Pokemon that have long cast times on their moves, which a lot of the time are going to be those carry Pokemon, like Cinderace, Pikachu, those kind of Pokemon. So two very, very good moves. Of course, in my opinion, the best moves, but let's showcase the other two moves. All right, so again, everyone gets this character for free, so I don't think this is really, you know, gonna change your perception of, oh, should I buy Tsareena or not, unless you're watching this, like, a very long time from now. But, you know, I'll just go ahead and showcase the other moves just for you guys. So, again, like I was talking about with Rapid Spin, this is my normal movement speed. I get a little bit of extra movement speed with Rapid Spin. It's very, very brief, but obviously good for kiting away if you need to. And then Razor Leaf, just you know, has decent range. But you see we didn't even crit there. So again, like we didn't crit there. We didn't crit there. Let's see how often we can crit with this. We crit a lot there. Crit a lot there. Anyway, you get the gist. Don't build crit on Tsareena. I honestly don't think it's worth it. There's so many better items to build. So yeah, those are going to be the moves that you start with. And once you evolve to Tsareena, let's go ahead, go Stomp and Trop Kick. You'll see kind of what I was talking about, Trop Kick, how it leaves this this field of slowness. So you'll actually see hindrance length 0 on this dummy, right? And you'll see they're actually slowed for 1 second, 2 second, 3 second. They're just standing in it, right? So if a person stands in it, they're going to be slowed the entire time. Their movement speed is going to be slowed. They are obviously going to be taking very small amounts of damage. You can see it's pretty inconsequential. But the big thing for this move is obviously the slow that you're going to be using it for. And of course, you're just basically doing damage when you're using this move. That's pretty much all you need to know. Of course, I am still level 6, so you don't expect to do that much damage, but it is what it is, you know. And of course, you'll see, of course, the shield that comes when you use Trop Kick. But now moving on to Stomp as our last move that we're showing here. It's again, like I said, you can move while using it. I have cooldowns off, so you wouldn't be able to use it this often. But the thing about moving while using this is that you can see you do stagger a little bit when you crash down. There's a brief period of time where, like, as you're coming down, you're not moving. So it's not exactly like seamless mobility or anything, but you can move while using it a small amount. And of course, you can flash while using this. You can flash while using pretty much all of Tsareena's abilities, as far as I know. Yep, pretty sure you can. So just keep that in mind. Eject button, always a good item. I think full heal is definitely one to consider for this character too, as they are very frequently in. By nature of Tsareena's kit, you kind of have to be in the thick of things, so full heal is definitely good for a Pokemon like that. Think similar to Venusaur. You know, you're in there, you're Giga Draining, you're Pedal Dancing, you want to be using your moves constantly, so whatever allows you to do that without interruption, full heal sometimes is the better choice than eject button, but I'll leave that up to you guys. But yeah, so this is pretty much the moves, and again, one last thing, of course, about Stomp is that it does stun briefly. It's not even that long of a stun. Like, it takes me I have to stack it a bunch of times before I get even the hindrance length to change on the dummy here. But this will interrupt some moves. This will just, like, lock down opponents for a brief time. I would like to see Stomp's stun duration increased by maybe, like, double what it is now. And of course, it's a very short duration now, so I think maybe like this much more would be good in terms of making this move as good as Triple Axel. But, you know, you guys play around with it, see what you like. That is pretty much Tsareena, you guys. I don't want to spend any more time talking about things I don't need to talk about, because I think I gave you everything. The big thing you need to know, and again, go back and watch the video if you didn't quite grasp the whole Queenly Majesty thing. Because here, let me turn my cooldowns back on. The whole idea of it is that you're just using your abilities. You can use them again as you're getting these boosted auto attacks. You know, you'll get this reset, which is not technically an ability reset. It's just an extra side cooldown. It's a cooldown that you're holding in your pocket, right? And you pull it out when you activate this this tertiary bar here of blueness. So very easy to probably pick up once you figure it out. But I know this will, I think this will probably be a very washed video, just in terms of learning this character at the start, because once you get it, it makes sense. But I think for me, it took probably like 30 minutes of just messing around in the lobby to see like, oh, okay, this is exactly how it works. Because I want to make sure I'm explaining it correctly to you guys and not just saying that, hey, yeah, you reset your abilities, because you technically don't. As we already established, they still have their hidden cooldowns behind. See, I just used the boosted ability and they're both still on cooldown. So your cooldowns happen in the background while your ability proc is happening, and that's all you need to know about this character. Enjoy the big damage, enjoy the insane healing with triple Axel. Of course, my favorite build is the triple Axel Grassy Glide. Excuse me, sorry, forgot the name of the move. And in terms of items, let me just close out the video by talking about items. It's pretty variable. I would definitely recommend Buddy Barrier, of course, always a solid item. If you are going jungle, I will say that her auto attacks don't do a lot of damage, and that you don't do enough damage. I think you will actually need Muscle Band in order to clear the jungle effectively and have an impact on the game that matters. However, if you run this character in lane, I'm personally thinking Score Shield and Focus Band are good. Some alternative options that maybe if you really want to go big on the damage and just hope that you heal enough with triple Axel and Stomp, because of course, remember guys, when you use these Queenly Majesty boosted abilities and you use Stomp, you will heal by a pretty decent amount. So that's pretty much all you need to know in terms of that. But the healing and sustain using your Queenly Majesty ability, using this Stomp or this triple Axel, is really what is going to allow you to, heal up in the fights. And of course, if you're already healthy, then go ahead and use Trop Kick or Grassy Glide. You'll see I get a pretty substantial shield, and it lasts for 3 to 4 seconds. And you can keep just stacking those shields, use it again, stack the shield again, like this, get another one, boom, another shield. Like, you're just constantly getting shields. So this character is meant to be in the thick of things and tanky, which brings me to my point of you may want to actually consider using weakness policy on this character. I personally don't have weakness policy leveled at all. It's level 1 on my account. But maybe I'll have to level it, and we'll see how it works. But definitely try out weakness policy on this character. I think it definitely has the potential to make that work. Of course, 12% attack once you get your stacks with weakness policy. So that's a pretty decent amount of attack for any character. Of course, Tsareena is a physical attacker, so that may end up helping you. But generally, I would say like the items to make her tanky: Focus, Buddy, Score Shield. Consider weakness policy, consider Muscle Band. Those are kind of the more situational adds, in my opinion, in terms of builds. So that's going to do it for this character, you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you did. Let me know if it was helpful. Appreciate it if you guys did make it all the way to the end. Let me know in the comments below. Yeah, I'd love to hear from you. Any questions you guys have about this patch. This is a huge update that just happened, and there's a ton of stuff that I still need to cover. So I'm going to go start another video, but I'm going to get this one up for you guys so you have all the information you need to play Tsareena to the maximum effectiveness. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. Appreciate you as always. Subscribe if you're new. Always got some Pokemon Unite content in the pipeline. I've been a little bit busy recently with a move, so haven't exactly been able to upload as frequently as I'd like. And I'm actually going to be out of state for the next 6 days. So won't be that many videos from me here in the next little bit, but just know that they're coming. It's in the pipeline. And once I'm back from Florida for my cousin's wedding, we're going to go ham with this stuff. So I appreciate you guys as always, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.